So now I'm working on 5.2.2b, solving quadratics, and so I would, most of you have looked at this assignment and submitted the assignment, and if you have done that, then awesome. In fact, really, most of you who submitted the assignment got an A for just the attempt. I only really checked 2 of the questions to make sure that they were accurate. So what you need to do now, even if you scored an A, is to look back through this activity and make sure you understand what's in it, because tomorrow's test has some of these same questions. So I'm going to go through each screen. If you did not score at least a 70 on this assignment, you should go in and correct your screens so that you can get your 70. All right, the first screen says, how can you solve the equation? Which 2 strategies would you use? Well, multiplying these binomials would make this a trinomial, and we can't really solve that, at least not with the equation. It's actually already set up to be solved, and that's because it's already factored. So you would set your factors equal to 0 and solve. Y-intercepts are not solutions, but x-intercepts are. So the next answer was this one. You would graph it and look for the x-intercepts. Now, dividing both sides of the equation by 2 makes no sense, because this is added or actually subtracted from the x. So this last one is just doesn't have any, there's nothing good about that one. So hopefully nobody picked that one. All right, let's go to the next screen. Modify the equations so that the solutions are 1 and 3. Well, if you'll notice, this x-intercept is -1 and this x-intercept is +3. So if you want to put another equation in here, I'll call this one g of x, then you would need the factors x minus 1 and x plus 3 so that the x-intercepts, and I'm going to click the gear, make this different. Let's make it blue. All right, so now you can see the x-intercept is -1, which is what this says, and this x-intercept is +1. So basically, just change those 2 signs. You could change the signs that are already there or create another one. It's really up to you. All right, the next one, 3 students solved an equation. Who's right? Well, Jenny solved and said there's only one solution at x equals 1. Well, right here, you have 1, and the y-intercept is 0. I mean, the x-intercept is 0 because the y-coordinate is 0. So that is a solution. Is it the only solution? Cedric said there is one solution at x equals -1. Well, there is no x equals -1, and even if there was, it would actually be -4 because this is a quadratic equation. So if you went back 1 in this table, you would go down to the -4 just like this one. So he's not right. Dorothy, are there 2 solutions, but only one appears in the table? There are usually 2 solutions to a quadratic, so you would think Dorothy's right. But actually, 1, 0 is the vertex of this parabola. Notice it goes from -1 up to 0 and then back down to -1. And that means 0 is your vertex. So the actual correct answer was Jenny is correct. And that is because the point 1, 0 is the vertex. So that's what you should type in this box. All right, let's go to the next one. Use the graph to solve. The graph is given. What are the solutions? Well, click right here on the x-axis and you'll see 6, 0. So one solution is 6. Click right here and the other solution is 2, 0. So that solution is 2. All right, which term should you place in the open box? Well, actually, I kind of gave y'all this part out of order, which is why I'm going through this now. The lesson for today has this in it. So you'll notice the x squared is in this corner. So this goes here, and the -12 goes here. And what 2 terms should we place here? Well, step 1 is to multiply these together. So the 2 terms have to have the product -12x squared. And so all of these have the product -12x squared. Next, we need to make sure our x's add up to the 4x. So the correct answer was actually this first one. And that's because 6x, actually, let me use the equation editor here. 6x plus -2x is equal to 4x, which is the middle term. And then you would say 6x times -2x is equal to -12x squared. which is the product of the terms in the box that are already in the box. All right, so let me go back here, Control V. So it's the product of the first and last term in the trinomial. So when you multiply the x squared and the negative 12, you get negative 12x squared. That's also got a product of negative 12x squared. So that is why that is true. All right, and then you would share that with the class. All right, the next one is solve the equation. Well, this one's already factored, so all you have to do is type x plus 6 equals 0. And then to solve it, you would subtract 6. So you would say x equals negative 6. I guess I can just put a comma. It doesn't like to go in columns here. The second equation is x minus 3 is equal to 0. And then you solve that one too. So you would add 3 and get x equals 3. So those are your solutions, negative 6 and positive 3. Okay, the next one, match each. Now this is kind of a mess. But what we're going to do is look for boxes that go with trinomials. And it's kind of busy. And if you have a phone, I apologize. I will never make this many again. I put too many in here. So I want to need x squared minus 9. That means the x's, and by the way, this exact same problem is in your, I think I'm just going to put them all in here. How about this? To make life easy, let's just stick them all in the same thing for now. Alright, I'm going to put all that here. Alright, I've got x squared minus 8x minus 9. So I need an x squared for my first term and a negative 9 for my last. So this one could work. Now my x's need to add up to negative 8x. So 3x minus 3x is not negative 8x. So let's don't use that one. Alright, so let me see if I can do another one. How about this one? No. Oh yeah, wait a minute, this one's almost right. We got x squared, negative x, and 9x don't add up to negative 8x, so it can't be this one. So we're not going to use that one. Let's do this one. Aha, this one works. So x squared minus 8x minus 9 would have to be this one, because the x's add up to negative 8x. So I'm going to choose that one. Let's put those together. Alright, now I need an equation, an inequality. Let's see. Let's do this one. Alright, I've got x squared plus 8x, so this one looks a lot like this one. The only difference is that minus sign. So I need the negative to be on this one, and this one to be positive. So let's see if I can find that. No, that's not it. I think this one works. Oh, yeah. Alright, so those two go together. X squared plus 8x minus 9. Alright, so let's do, I don't know, how about that one? We got x squared minus 9x plus 8. Well, it has to have an 8 in the bottom right corner, so it's not this one. Could be this one. Let's see. Actually, that's the right one. Negative 8x and negative 1x do add up to negative 9x. So this one goes with that one. Whoops. It doesn't like that. It won't let me do it. Sorry, guys. I don't know what I was thinking, putting all these in the same thing. You almost need like a giant desktop to do this. So I didn't really think about you guys with a phone. I apologize. I can't do it. This is a nightmare. This one goes with that one. Let me go ahead and put this one here. This one has no x's, so the x's have to add up to 0. So those go here. We're almost done though. So let me see if I can scoot these way over. Because I need all the space I can get. Alright, so now I'm going to spread mine out. I'm kind of cheating here. Y'all can't do that. At least most of y'all can. I'm noticing a lot of y'all are working on phones. I'm going to keep these tiny from now on because I know how hard it is on a phone. Because I've been doing it myself. Alright, the last one, let's see. This one doesn't go with that one. I think this one, nope. Yeah, this one goes with this one. Okay, and then finally, these two go together. Alright, so do the best you can. I'm not going to count this wrong because I know that's impossible, really, to get all those on one screen. It's too many. Mine are kind of bunched up now. And, of course, if you touch them too close, they start going inside each other, and that's a nightmare. Okay, here's mine. Alright, once you get those, go to the next screen. Solve this quadratic. Now, this one you had to do on your own. Now, if you type it in Desmos, that's the easiest thing to do, so I'm going to show you how. Or you could factor it. I'm going to factor it. This one will be x minus 9 times x plus 1. Now let's look at this and see why. Well, first of all, I know negative 9 at the end means the numbers on the right side need to multiply to be negative 9. X squared at the beginning means x times x is on the left. And I need my 9 to be negative and my 1 to be positive, because when you add negative 9 and positive 1, you get negative 8. So those are your factors. Now when you set your factors equal to 0 and solve, you will get x equals positive 9 and x equals negative 1. So that's all you got to do. If you were to graph this in Desmos, the left-hand side, you could simply look for the x-intercepts. It crosses the x-axis at positive 9 and negative 1. Okay, the next one, x squared minus 9 equals 0. This was actually one of the ones that was in the other screen. So you could actually go back and get these factors. X plus 3 and x minus 3 were on the side of the box. And then you set each one equal to 0. And by the way, this is the last problem in the assignment for today. So if you did that assignment, you already know the answers are x equals negative 3. Oops, I can't seem to type today. And x equals positive 3. That's because negative 3 plus 3 would give you 0, and positive 3 minus 3 would give you 0. Alright, one more. Solve the equation. If x minus 2 is your factor, that means x equals 2 is your 0. If x minus 5 is your factor, then that means x equals 5. I'm going to click here to get an equation editor. X equals 5 is your 0. You can graph these, or you can set each factor equal to 0 and solve, whichever you prefer. A lot of you got these right, but some of you just were not trying. I saw a lot of blank screens on this one. So be sure to go back, correct this, and resubmit this assignment so that I can improve your score to a 70. Y'all have a good day. If you have any questions, always leave a comment, email me, let me know. We can set up a private tutor session or with several people. If y'all want to come in as a class, we can talk about a lesson. Have a great day.